manage your team. This team has started to pick itself. And he got the captain out of the door. Now there's a collectiveness to it. They went away on a training trip to Dubai, changed the tactical system a little bit. There's more of a balance between Partey and Xhaka, and that seems to have paid dividends.
Do you agree?
Yeah, 100%. It's a team and a manager that have come of age this season through obstacles. Arteta with Aubameyang, some of the younger players, you know, at certain times things not going their way, but they've learned, they've grown from that, and it's been incredible. And Arteta deserves a lot of credit for what he's done at the football club. And these young players, they just go and express themselves. And the beauty of this Arsenal team is that regardless of whether they make any signings in the summer or not, they're going to be better next season because the young players are nowhere near their peak. The
turnaround's been amazing. They only won 7 of their first 15 matches this season, 9 of the last 11, part of the hype leading into this encounter today with Liverpool. All right, kick-off then, about 30 minutes away. Meanwhile, Brighton and Tottenham are in action right now on a separate Peacock stream. That is 0-0 in the early stages. And we have got one live match tomorrow, also on Peacock, when Lampard's struggling Everton side host a resurgent Newcastle. Peacock Premium is your home for all things Premier League. It's got exclusive live matches, original content, including Tactics Session, the 2 Robbies podcasts, and The Lowdown, as well as the Men in Blazers, where it is always worth getting Michael and Roger's take on the latest stories from around the league. After the break, we'll bring you highlights from the big match at Crystal Palace on Monday and show you why Liverpool can now gain even more ground on Manchester City.
Your team is on a streak. A losing one. You need to scout some new career prospects.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do.
An Indeed resume gets right to work for you. It helps you adapt your skills and makes sure you stand out, so you can find that better fit fast.
Can you think of a time things didn't go as you planned?
How much time do we have?
I'm stuck in this, like, infinite time loop thing.
I'm reliving the same day over and over again. I get to do whatever I want.
Plus, nacho fries never leave the menu.
She's violating the nacho fries limited timeline.
Does that happen every day?
Let's dip.
Try her now!
What's happening?
Let's get spicy!
Look out!
The Garcias are good at getting the most out of things. And making a little go a long way. And with GoodRx...
Hey, baby, I'm gonna go grab my prescription.
They're good at saving on prescriptions at their pharmacy, too.
Hi, Mr. Garcia.
Hi, I'm here for my prescription.
Okay.
We're using GoodRx.
Oh, okay.
Yep, that's a lot better. See you next time.
See you next time. Thank you. Bye, Mom.
You're good with GoodRx.
The A-game automates the mundane and keeps the competition guessing.
When your business is on its A-game, the only competition it has is itself.
Become an autonomous digital enterprise with BMC.
Let's go.
It's time to go racing! Here we go! What a move! The greatest spectacle in racing, Indy 500!
Feud. John Cameron Mitchell and Kate McKinnock star in the new Peacock original Joe versus Carol, and streaming now only on Peacock. Well, all eyes were on Selhurst Park on Monday night, Tim, where despite a lot of shots on target, City ultimately had to settle for a draw.
Yeah, and it started early. De Bruyne forces a save from Guaita. Bernardo Silva can't quite control it, and then De Bruyne again in the second half hits the post. Morris on his weaker foot forces an excellent save from Guaita. And more interplay here from City, and Bernardo Silva can't turn it in. One last chance late on for Aymeric Laporte, and just doesn't get contact on the header, stays 0-0.
So a shock, 2 points dropped for City. No doubt buoyed the Liverpool fans, though, who now have a realistic run against their title rivals and will travel to the Etihad on April 10th for that crucial fixture. Man City's upcoming fixtures also include a game against a relegation candidate in Burnley. That's on April 2nd, before that must-see matchup the following weekend. Well, coming up next, we're out on the pitch at the Emirates. More build-up to this top four clash when we come back as Alisson prepares, having kept a clean sheet in each of his last 3 Premier League appearances.
I'm stuck in this, like, infinite time loop thing. I'm reliving the same day over and over again. I get to do whatever I want. Plus, nacho fries never leave the menu.
She's violating the nacho fries limited timeline.
Does that happen every day? Let's dip.
Try her now!
What's happening?
Let's get spicy!
Look out!
I've made progress with my mental health. So when I started having unintentional body movements, called tardive dyskinesia, I ignored them. But when the twitching and jerking in my face and hands affected my day-to-day, I finally had to say, it's not okay. It was time to talk to my doctor about Austedo. She said Austedo helps reduce TD movements in adults, while I continue with most of my mental health medications.
Austedo can cause depression, suicidal thoughts, or actions in patients with Huntington's disease. Pay close attention to and call your doctor if you become depressed, have sudden changes in mood, behaviors, feelings, or have suicidal thoughts. Common side effects include inflammation of the nose and throat, insomnia, and sleepiness. Don't take Austedo if you have liver problems, are taking Rezapine, tetrabenazine, or valbenazine. Austedo may cause irregular or fast heartbeat, restlessness, movements mimicking Parkinson's disease, fever, stiff muscles, problems thinking, and sweating.
Talk to your doctor about Austedo. It's time to treat TD. TD is not okay. Visit AskForAustedo.com.
Uploads live a life of luxury.
We're taking this place over.
Look what I found. You were considering bicep inflation.
Perfect. It's so ridiculous.
Old and new engines at their best. Quaker State is for all the miles you've seen and all the miles ahead. Buy Quaker State all mileage and Quaker State full synthetic motor oils at AutoZone.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
It's time to go racing. Here we go. The greatest spectacle in racing, Indy 500!
The women who made me.
The most important moment in my career and my life was my girlfriend. She made me a person I am today.
My mum, given me so much. She would take me everywhere when I was a kid. I never felt that I wasn't able to do anything or chase my dreams, and I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her.
I would definitely say my mum. You know, she's been part of my journey since I was born, and she's always been there for me from day one.
What would we all do without our mums, huh? Well, all of us at NBC continue to celebrate women's history. You can read and watch more stories on women in sports on NBCSports.com/onherturf. Liverpool and Arsenal are both in great form. Liverpool with 8 straight wins, Arsenal with 5. In fact, this is only the 3rd match in Premier League history between 2 teams currently on a 5-plus match winning run. So let's head out the pitch in North London now, Danny, and take a look at Ramsdale. Keeper, we know that, but has he become a leader in the team?
100%. He's been absolutely... You run out of words to describe him, how good he's been since he's come into the team. And we know about his shot stopping. Yes, he's got 12 clean sheets, but he creates problems for opposition because Liverpool are a team tonight that will want to press Arsenal high. I think they will think twice about it with Ramsdale's ability with the ball at his feet because they know that if they go to press high, then there's going to be space in behind. So he also gives opposition team to food for thought as in terms of what they're going to do. And then you look in midfield as well. Playing more of a 4-3-3 now. Partey, his inconsistency initially was a problem with injuries. Now he's playing in a position where he sits the deepest of the three. And then what you've got, Xhaka goes in front of him, which creates time and space for Partey on the ball. And he can also press higher. So Partey can do the role that he needs to do. Cedric at right back will just tuck in next to him at times as well. But he's really grown in this position as well. And it's just the small tweaks that Arteta's made that has enabled Partey to grow as well and really make that position his own and dominate that area as well. And it's so important because at times, obviously, Arsenal are dominating possession. And then, well, Odegaard, there's very, very little that you can add to the way that he's playing at the moment. What I would say is that he has a really good understanding with Saka, so he's happy to drift over to the right-hand side. But one of the things that Odegaard does, which is really important, it's not just on the ball. He organises a press off the ball. He's the one that starts a press off the ball. And then what you'll find quite often is if there's a break in play, Odegaard is the one that goes over to Arteta. He gets the instructions of Arteta. So yes, he's a young player. He's a player that's growing all the time as well. But Arteta has entrusted him with being the manager on the pitch. And you can see with the way that he takes that out, with the pressing, with everything else that's involved. And he's just part of this Arsenal team that is just, you know, it's so exciting to watch because they're only going to get better and better as time goes on.
OK, let's look at the Liverpool side warming up as well. New signing Diaz, Tim, seems to be paying off.
Yeah, and he's really hit the ground running since his January move from Porto. 2 goals in 5 games. But what's more impressive than that is just his confidence. I mean, there's always a smile on his face. He loves to celebrate. No-look passes, flick passes around the corner. I mean, he's a fun footballer to watch. And Jurgen Klopp always has to get his transfers right. But more than anything, in that front third, he has to get it right because they've been so prolific. You know, Mane, Salah, Firmino for so many years now has been so prolific. When he brings in a new player, they've got to be able to mimic and match, if not better, what those 3 have done. And he's full of confidence, brimming with confidence at the moment.
We mentioned Salah on the bench. That means this guy is in the starting lineup tonight.
Yeah, and of course, any team's gonna miss Salah. But Diogo Jota is he's 12 goals this season in 25 games. I mean, he is the prototypical perfect number 9 for Jurgen Klopp. I mean, Firmino has done it for so many years. You think, is there going to be someone to come in and overtake him? And Jota has done that. It's his shirt. He's the one who does the dirty work, chases back, drops on the number 6 defensively, always gets himself in the right areas. And I'll tell you what, for a guy his size, he's really, really good in the air. It's actually quite interesting to see how often he gets on the end of balls in the air for this team. But Thiago comes in the midfield in place of Keita, who's had quite a few really good games. He's an interesting one for me because I think he's such a talent. And last year, it took him a while to kind of settle and fit in. Traditionally, over the course of his career, he was a deep-lying midfielder. He liked to spray balls left and right. This season, he's found a way to get up and press in terms of that high energy that Jurgen Klopp likes. And I'll have to get it right. They've been a little bit susceptible with that high line at the back because the pressing hasn't been perfect the last few games. His midfield partners and him will have to do that today because Arsenal are very, very good going front to back.
OK, well, Salah is on the bench, at least to begin this match. Did get his 20th goal of the season against Brighton on Saturday, but that's where he picked up the foot injury. Apparently a rapid recovery. We'll have more next.
I'm stuck in this, like, infinite time loop thing. I'm reliving the same day over and over again. I get to do whatever I want. Plus, nacho fries never leave the menu.
She's violating the nacho fries limited timeline.
Does that happen every day? Let's dip.
Try her now!
What's happening?
Let's get spicy!
Look out!
America's been thunderstruck by the all-new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. With a sleek exterior and premium interior, get high style without the high price during the spring sales event. Get thunderstruck.
Today, streaming exclusively on Peacock, the Reds are making a run at another title. But will the Gunners get in their way? Arsenal, Liverpool, today, 4:15 Eastern on Peacock.
Old and new engines at their best. Quaker State is for all the miles you've seen and all the miles ahead. Buy Quaker State all mileage and Quaker State full synthetic motor oils at AutoZone.
You're the unique among the uncommon. You fought for our freedoms. Your bravery and leadership is celebrated by all Americans. At Grand Canyon University, we recognize your commitment to excellence. Our commitment is to deliver modern online degree programs that can help you or your spouse pursue the next step in your journey. We salute you. God bless America. Find your purpose at GCU. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu/military.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
It's time to go racing. Here we go. Whoa. The greatest spectacle in racing. Indy 500.
On a separate stream here on Peacock, you can see still 0-0. Meanwhile, Arsenal-Liverpool is on the way. Stick with us. Kickoff from the Emirates is less than 15 minutes away. So let's take another look at the team news. Danny, we'll start with the home side, Arsenal.
And Arteta, he sticks with the same 11 that won last time out against Leicester. In goal, Ramsdale has been sensational, whilst his usage of the ball has been key to Arsenal's style. The back four is settled with Cedric sitting more at right back, allowing Tierney to venture forward, whilst White and Gabriel have a great understanding. It's a midfield three now, with Partey holding, meaning Xhaka and the outstanding Odegaard can advance, whilst up front Lacazette will drop to create space, allowing Saka and Martinelli to get beyond into space.
OK, meanwhile, Tim, the big headline with Liverpool is Salah's in the squad, but not on the starting sheet.
Yeah, and Jurgen Klopp makes two changes to the team that beat Brighton 2-0 last time out. Alisson in goal, Van Dijk and Matip, the centre-back pairing. 20 assists combined from the full-backs, Robertson and Alexander-Arnold. Midfield three of Fabinho, Thiago tilted to the left, Henderson to the right. Up front, Mane and Jota, 12 goals each. And Diaz has slotted in really well since his January move from Porto with 2 goals in 5 games.
OK, let's bring in our trio from the Emirates once again. Arlo, Lee and Graham. Guys, what are your thoughts before kickoff?
Well, the atmosphere, Cara, is building here. I want to talk to you two about title races. You know a thing or two about them from your playing careers. I think we were all sort of transfixed by the game on Monday night. Would Crystal Palace hold out for a 0-0 draw against Manchester City? They did in the end. Jurgen Klopp says he only watched 65 minutes of it, saw what he needed to, and then was surprised by the result. Did you used to watch your title rivals live when they were playing?
Yeah, I used to watch every game. I wanted to know what they were doing. Where, you know, I think any game that you watch, it's a personal opinion. Some of the lads didn't watch them because they're like, oh, superstitious or whatever it was. I like to watch, I like to see what they were playing, what form they were in, and I'd certainly focus on the players that were in my area, so everybody was on the left-hand side of the pitch. And I'd work out which minute I was going to kick him in. Yeah. So it was kind of like, if you can always pick something up, you can always learn, you can always go, George, I didn't know he did that, or they're pressurising down one side or the other. So I always used to watch, and you know what? You can't affect it. So by watching or not watching, it's not going to make any difference. So that was my preference.
Putting me on your dartboard was a bit out of order, though, to be honest, wasn't it? I think, well, the reality is, well, we didn't have the opportunity to watch as many games. They weren't as available as they are now. But absolutely, when you start to feel that you're closing in on, you know, the run-in, and you're in a position where you can either win it or hunt down the team that's above you, you definitely start to take more interest in what's going on. And trying to understand and work out where maybe you're going to pick up your points, where they might drop there. And I think that's the beauty of the Premier League, and it's ever been thus, is that the teams are so competitive. They raise their games against the better teams. Crystal Palace are a great example. They can make life really difficult for any team. So there's plenty more twists and turns before the end of the season, I'm sure. I think
what was interesting for me was after a game was played by the opposition, whoever it was, both of my managers, Arsene and George, used to come in and kind of the next day talk about it, and he was looking at us, he was assessing us by going, did you watch the game last night, what did you think? Just seeing who the ones are the nervous ones who are going, oh, you can get a lot of kind of feedback from your own squad the day after a result with the opposition's gone on, because you get to know your own players.
And it's really funny, because you having just said that, that's when the manager becomes really important, that last 10 games, because he sets the mentality and the attitude towards who the team is that's on your shoulder.
Yeah.
He drives that whole sort of culture in those last 10 games.
There you go, Cara, get them talking about title races that could go till midnight. We've got a game to commentate on. Join us for kickoff.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Arlo, thank you. We know, guys, Arsenal are playing well. They've also got good home form as well, Tim. They've won, really, as we know, 5 of the last straight, 7 of the ones at home. But against Liverpool, it's a different story. They've been winless in their 3 meetings so far this season. They've only won 1 of the last 18 in all matches. Why is tonight's encounter so much harder for them?
Well, the team feels more settled. They feel it feels different tactically. Mikel Arteta has slowly driven this team to where they are right now. And I give them a chance because of this. For me, they're the best team in the Premier League at going back to front. Building from Ramsdale, their patterns of play, they have brave footballers. I mentioned before about Manchester City. I think they've become a little bit complacent in their possession-based football. I also think recently, over the last 5 games or so, Liverpool have become a little bit complacent in their high press. Jurgen Klopp demands that back line stays high at all times and that Alisson plays sweeper-keeper. That's good if they're getting the pressure on the ball. What's happened is they've come a little bit off the boil. They've gotten exposed at the back because they're not going to drop the line. They're going to stay high because that's what Klopp wants. And if they don't get pressure on the ball, we've seen that, particularly against West Ham, the balls over the top and behind have been really, really dangerous. So they have to get the press right tonight.
OK, so Liverpool are probably their biggest challenge that they have had in recent weeks.
Yeah, it is. And I think the interesting thing is when we talk about Liverpool, we talk about Jurgen Klopp, we talk about his team playing on the front foot, being really aggressive, pressing. I wonder what he does tonight, though, because there will be part of Jurgen Klopp that will say to his team, do not press them. Don't press them. Ramsdale is brilliant on the ball. And if they press Arsenal, Arsenal would be delighted because they've got players that are comfortable to play out from the back, but they've also got a goalkeeper that can go over the press. So that, for me, is a really interesting thing, and that's both sides. You know, do Arsenal press high against Liverpool, just as Liverpool against Arsenal? That could really determine which way this game goes, because both teams want to do it, but only one of them can earn the right to do that. So that makes it really interesting. And as in terms of Arteta, he deserves a lot of credit because he now has players in the team that he trusts. Previously, it was a team of makeshift players that weren't necessarily playing in the best position, and he would have to put certain players in certain positions just because it would solidify things, but then it would affect other areas of the team. Every single player in that team now is playing in their preferred position and is on top of their game.
Liverpool are the favourites. Marginally?
Yeah, marginally, but it wouldn't surprise me if Arsenal won.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I think Liverpool just, but it'll be a brilliant game of football.
OK, well, let's get back out to Arlo in just a minute. Meanwhile, quick update. Spurs, guys, have got a goal before half-time.
Yeah, and it's Kulusevski. You just see they work it really well, Brighton. It takes the deflection as Kulusevski hits it through. Sanchez has absolutely no chance. Good play from Son. Then Kulusevski, the goalkeeper had it covered, and I think it just took the deflection on the way through, and Sanchez had no chance.
They had some chances, so now they have converted 1-0 before half-time. Back out to Arlo for kickoff. Arsenal-Liverpool in just a minute. But first, here's a look at the top of the table. If Liverpool win, they go 1 point behind City at the top. If Arsenal win, they strengthen their grip on top 4 place. The Gunners, 1 meeting in their last 18. They lost by a wide margin when they last met Liverpool in November.
Well, the battle for a finishing place in the top 4 is cranked up. Alexander-Arnold's kick.
They had some chances, so now they have...
He hits the spot! Suarez emerging with it, but then giving it away to Diogo Jota! So cool! 2-0! Mane's through. Salah's waiting on it. Salah delivers! He just had to! Salah, Alexander-Arnold pulls it right across, and what an introduction! Only just on, and Takumi Minamino helps himself to a goal, a 4th for Liverpool.
I'm stuck in this, infinite time loop thing. I'm reliving the same day over and over again. I get to do whatever I want. Plus, nacho fries never leave the menu.
She's violating the nacho fries limited timeline.
Does that happen every day? Let's dip.
Try her now!
What's happening?
Let's get spicy!
Look out!
Five, four,
Let's go.
It's time to go racing. Here we go. The greatest spectacle in racing. Indy 500.
A very big and significant night here in North London. On multiple fronts, the title race. Liverpool could close the gap on City to a point. Arsenal could put 4 points between themselves and Manchester United. Liverpool will have to do it from the start without Mo Salah. That foot injury keeping him out of the starting lineup. The first time he's missed a Premier League game through injury since 2019. And here come the teams. Trent Alexander-Arnold, whose 11 Premier League assists is the most in the league. Diogo Jota makes his first start since February the 10th when he scored twice against Leicester City. Jurgen Klopp said he watched the Crystal Palace-Manchester City game for exactly, he says, 65 minutes for analysis reasons, believe it or not. He said he saw the result and he was surprised. He says the plan is to be as annoying as possible and win all our games. Annoying to Manchester City, that is, in this title race. It's final after final that we play. Liverpool will be in all yellow for this one. There's Gabriel Martinelli. 13th start in the last 14 in the Premier League. He's been in fine form of late and got his first call-up for the Brazil national team. What a moment for him. He's won a gold medal at the Olympics in Tokyo last summer for the first call-up for the March World Cup qualifiers at the age of 20. Congratulations to him. That is a very big deal. Seven assists in 10 appearances in all competitions against Arsenal. He's enjoyed facing the Gunners, Alexander-Arnold. And that's going to be some matchup tonight, Martinelli against Alexander-Arnold. There are great matchups all over the field. The Emirates is absolutely buzzing tonight. He's no stranger to seasons going down to the wire. Last season, the Champions League race went to the last day after a season fraught with injuries. The season before, they had won the title, and the season before that, lost it by a point on the final day. And Mikel Arteta says he's happy with the way his side is playing. We have to make things quicker, sharper, more unpredictable, and be more consistent. He says the gap to the top sides is still pretty big, but they are certainly travelling in the right direction. All eyes, including those of Mo Salah, on a drizzly North London then. Liverpool have a route mapped out to a potential second Premier League title in 3 years. Victory tonight, the gap will be a single point to City. They could be top by the time City play again. The sides, of course, meet on April the 10th. As all players, officials and coaches take a knee, there is no room for racism in football. Arsenal could take a real grip on fourth place, and they could demonstrate tonight how much they've improved since that 4-0 drubbing at Anfield in November. It's all set. Three-man booth as well. Alongside me, Lee Dixon and Graham Lasso. Good evening, gentlemen. Who wants to have a first hit?
Oh, these evening games under the floodlights in the rain.
what better setting for a really competitive game of Football League?
Attack straight away. Mane, it's on that right-hand side. Alexander-Arnold, deep-looking cross. Ramsdale, I think, has missed that. Might be quite late to come for it, and Liverpool have the game's first corner.
I think that's a sign of things to come from far as Liverpool concerned. Right-wing cross from one full-back over, and Robertson winning his side of corner. Ramsdale just missing that punch. Jota, as the boys said in the studio, really good in the air, causing a threat in the first couple of minutes of the game.
Made some terrific saves in the 2-0 win over Leicester on Sunday. Brendan Rodgers, the Leicester manager, says he's the best English goalkeeper at the moment, with the World Cup in mind. Corner taken. Liverpool have been very effective from set pieces so far this season, and will try again from the other side.
It's an area they've really improved in, with the height of Van Dijk and Matip, the accuracy of the ball in, the pace from either fullbacks, outswingers they tend to prefer.
Full zonal marking from Arsenal. Nobody picking up the 6 or 7. 6 it is, I lost count then, of the yellow shirts just on the edge of the box running in. And there's blocks there, all the midfield players forming a block, a line.
Swung over to the penalty spot, the header from it was Van Dijk peeling away. It was on target, saved down to his left-hand side by Ramsdale, and it's an excellent start so far by the visitors.
Well, that's what happens if you mark zonal and the ball doesn't come into your zone, then you're not going to head it. And on that occasion, they pulled the ball back. It's a save he should make, Ramsdale, but you need to get a little bit tighter. That zone, just push out a little bit so they can attack the ball.
What have they got planned this time? Luis Diaz is on the edge of the penalty area. The 6-yard box this time. Ball's here to Diaz. He tries to curl it back in. There may have been a couple of Liverpool players in offside positions. Might stay down. So just need to settle a little here in the early stages.
I think you mentioned early on, Arlo, about the contests over different areas of the pitch. Fullbacks against wingers, midfield players matching up against each other. I think the Saka-Robertson contest will be interesting, as well as that down the right-hand side.
Lovely turn by Partey. They've broken through the press here, Arsenal. Odegaard found by Lacazette out to the right-hand side, and Bukayo Saka. It's an excellent challenge by Andrew Robertson, and then he's clattered into by Odegaard. Just a little over keen to win possession back up the field there for Arsenal. And he leaves Robertson flat on the ground. Free kick.
Well, they get the break. As you said, they go through the press, but the Liverpool back line don't break up. They stay as a four and just retreat. And that just gives them time. And if the ball's any better, they put the Liverpool defence under a bit more pressure, but it wasn't quite good enough. And Robertson winning the free kick.
He's just got an arm across the face as well. Robertson is just checking his temple. It's okay.
Odegaard says he feels like he's found a home now. And he said, for the last 5 years, I've been all over the place with loans. Says, I feel like I've finally got that stability and calmness that I need. And he has been playing some excellent football of late. Created 6 chances against Leicester at the weekend, the most he's managed in a Premier League game. Saka loses out.
Me and Graham were talking about him earlier, about a younger player that when he was at Real Madrid and everything, he's found his feet. For me, he looks like he's really comfortable in his body. His mind and his body are both playing the same game. Sometimes he was so good as a youngster, his brain was too good for his body, wasn't it, Graham? And now all of a sudden he's got stronger, he looks an athlete, and he's really showing his true form at the moment.
Free kick to Liverpool. It's taken quickly by Mane, but they'll have to take it again.
Yeah, with the Odegaard development, I think what he said is absolutely right. I saw him playing for Real Sociedad on loan a couple of seasons ago when he looked like a boy trying to play a man's game, whereas now his ability, as Lee says, and the growth into, you know, he's 23 years old now. He's clearly worked really hard to get himself physically right, and his frame now is strong enough to deal with the Premier League, we're really seeing the benefit and the combination of that physical and technical that you need at this level of the game.
Exact opposite of me. My brain never caught up with my body.
That's because it was in a jar.
Long ball diagonal from Van Dijk, but that's out of play. It's defensively that Arsenal have improved dramatically. They've only conceded 7 goals in the last 11 Premier League games. Remember, they conceded 9 in the opening 3 without scoring. They were bottom going into that first international break. And won the game after it by a goal to nil, a scrappy performance against Norwich. Mikel Arteta was on the hot seat at that point, but they came through it. They did get drubbed 4-0 away at Anfield, but lately the defence has been far tighter.
And that's without Tomiyasu as well, one of the 4 that you would say is their first choice, and Cedric has come in. That was an area tonight when you look at Diaz and going, that could be a problem area for Arsenal, but he's been playing well, to be fair to him.
Excellent pressing by Odegaard. On the line by Martin. Followed by Tierney. Defensive solidity has given Arsenal a basis from which to improve in an attacking sense as well. When they managed 13 goals in their opening 12 games, they've now scored 30 in the last 14.
Fascinating to see the combination of Liverpool's attacking threat, where Henderson will push on them, almost make them a 4 up front, and then Jota will suddenly drop into a deeper position. It's really challenging for those Arsenal defenders to know when to follow a play and when to keep their shape.
Thiago back in the Liverpool starting lineup here. He was injured in the warm-up, of course, before the EFL Cup final. Had to be replaced by Naby Keita. Arteta maybe betraying 1 or 2 nerves when the ball went into the feet of Thomas Partey. His arm shot into the air. Partey was cool and calm enough. And now Martinelli, has he run the ball back? No, it's a handball.
Just going back to what you said, Graham, about the back 4 not knowing whether to go into that space and follow the man. It's all, for me, it's that space and the distance between the 2 holding midfield players. If you get that right, and the back 4 can stay together for longer, you don't have to follow your player in there. You just pass him on to a Xhaka or a Partey. If that gap's too big, then you have to start thinking about, do I go in there? Because otherwise they get the ball and turn and run at you. So keep your back 4 together as long as you can.
Partey finds Saka, who's up here against Virgil van Dijk. Van Dijk has help. The cross goes to the back post. Martinelli coming in. Almost found Lacazette on the edge of the 6-yard box. Nodded back goalwards again, but easy this time for Alisson.
This is a really good break. Somewhere Van Dijk, as good as he is, doesn't want to be against Saka. He's looking around him, just assessing who's giving him support. Shows him down the line. Saka accepts, and then quick touch out of his feet. And that's almost a really good ball back in by Martinelli. Didn't try to take on the shot. Didn't quite get the contact to feed Lacazette. That'll give Arsenal confidence.
Ben White has now started the last 24 Premier League games in the heart of that Arsenal defence. He and Gabriel have formed quite a partnership. Excellent movement by Diogo Jota. And he finds Alexander-Arnold. There's Mane. Anderson provided the overlap. Alexander-Arnold back over for Mane. That's off his shins last, and it's a goal kick.
One of his great strengths is, you just saw there, he makes the fullback stop in front of him, so he gets the ball and he's got so much time on the ball. He's so skillful that defenders quite scared of him. So what he does, and then he stops you. Once he stops you, his ability to go from a standing start to sprinting He's probably one of the quickest in the league, and if you stop as a fullback, you're in big trouble.
Here's Fabinho. What an impact Luis Diaz has made since signing from Porto in the January transfer window. Very brave in opening the scoring at Brighton at the weekend. Not sure how Robert Sanchez, the goalkeeper, avoided a red card for that, but it was a goal. And it stood, and Liverpool won by 2-0. He's won all 5 Premier League appearances for Liverpool.
I just think his instant impact as well, coming from a different league. No sort of need to adapt. He's fitted in really quickly, a bit like Jota when Jota came as well. Really good recruitment from a Liverpool perspective. Particularly difficult during the January window, but he's assimilated really quickly into this team.
Ramsdale's clearance very well dealt with, retreating by Andrew Robertson. There's Martin, who was the Premier League Player of the Month for February.
I don't think that's where Arsenal look a lot better, Lee, is in that when they haven't got the ball, the shape of the team's excellent, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I've been talking to a friend of mine at the club, and I was saying about the training that Arsenal are doing at the moment. And Arteta puts sessions on, and then he stopped the session with a player on the ball, and he'll go, "What do you think you should do next?" And stops the play, and he kind of puts the pressure on the players to go, right, where do I pass it? What do I do? How do I close down? So he's asking questions in training all of the time. And I think that's, from a learning point of view, and this team is learning, I think that's invaluable when it comes to the progression of, from game to game. And we're seeing that now.
Margot finds Henderson, who sensed the presence of Martinelli and played it to Alexander-Arnold. It's a little strong for Mane. Tierney with the defending. Mane with the challenge. It's a goal kick, and the rain continues to team down here at the Emirates Stadium in North London.
Another fascinating matchup on the pitch, isn't it? Mane against Tierney.
Obviously, he has played on that right-hand side, but he generally plays on the left, but switching over because Salah's not in the side. Just different proposition for the fullback. Tierney probably won't have played against him that much, but he's certainly a handful.
He finds Cedric in for Tomiyasu, who is still out injured with that calf problem. How to put the pressure on. Andre Mariner says no free kick at the moment. He may be playing an advantage here. Doesn't seem to be one. Gabriel. Excellent run being made here by Martinelli. Knocks it out to Tierney. Martinelli again. Could be away here. Reaches the byline. Low ball in is an excellent one, and it's repelled virtually on the goal line. Robertson was there defending. There were a couple of red and white shirts loitering in that area as well, but that was scintillating stuff from Gabriel Martinelli. Meanwhile, at the other end, I think we'll see a flag here against Mane, and we do.
Well, that was one area. Martinelli's pace against the pushed-up fullbacks. You see him going right down the middle, and he does ever so well to win the ball and then get it in a position where he can run into the corner, and then he just brushes Trent Alexander-Arnold off, and then Van Dijk looks like he leaves this for the goalkeeper. He does, and to be honest with you, Lacazette's not that far away. A bit of miscommunication there from the talented centre-back with his goalkeeper.
Partey assertively into the feet of Odegaard.
Just couldn't quite get that first touch under control, could he there, Odegaard? That shows the importance of that first touch. Just meant that he had to turn back. He managed to keep possession. Good start by Arsenal. They had one sort of good break down either side. Saka on this right-hand side and then Martinelli down the left. That width gives them opportunity to thread those balls into the angled run of the front players.
And Cedric. Odegaard loses out. Diaz chasing it, trying to get there ahead of Cedric. It's come off the Liverpool player last.
Well, it's like fascinating little duels going on all over the pitch, but in the wide areas, the two Liverpool fullbacks always want to be ahead of the centre-backs and pushing into that midfield. And they're kind of threatening to go in there all the time. And whoever's wide,
Salah,
Martinelli or Saka,
Mane.
and on that occasion, Lacazette, in the wide area, they're going the other way. They're trying to pinch a yard, and they want the ball long over the top. Diagonals will get a red shirt in on goal because the fullbacks are so high for Liverpool.
Here's Van Dijk. Liverpool will pounce out and try and close down Robertson. Henderson.
Again, it's just a really nice setup by Arsenal. Distance between each player is good.
As Thiago turned, the yellow shirts just poured forward. A decent looking ball by Alexander-Arnold. He was looking for Mane on the back post. Arsenal remain firm. Here's the Guinness captain Lacazette. He loses out. Alexander-Arnold down the line to Diogo Jota, who scored 6 in 6 appearances against Arsenal for Liverpool. Henderson. There's Van Dijk. Martin. Alexander-Arnold pointing towards that Arsenal goal. Mane, was he tripped? No, says Andre Mariner. Challenges by Gabriel. No further action taken just yet. Partey, he's fouled by Jota. It doesn't look like there will be a yellow card for Mane for simulation. I think that's the point that Lacazette is making to the referee right now.
Well, we sometimes say it doesn't have to be a dive or a foul, but I think on that occasion Mane was expecting the contact and it didn't come. Gabriel just pulled out, so what sent him to the ground? Andre Mariner giving him the benefit of the doubt there.
Henderson. There's one for Alexander-Arnold to chase, but Martinelli's too quick for him. There's a completely different feel to the Emirates these days than we've experienced. We've experienced levels of toxicity in this stadium, haven't we, over the last few years?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's because the club, the players, the coach and the fans are all on the same page. Graham talked about it before the match. There's a feeling. They've bought into it. And that's testament to the club. They bought into Arteta's blueprint of going with youth, signing under 23-year-old players and saying, right, let's give it a go and let's see how far we go. They've always given youngsters a chance here from a fan's point of view over the years, and they can actually see what the Arsenal are trying to do when it comes to closing down with the ball, without the ball. They can improve, of course they can, But that's what you do on the training pitch.
Zipping the ball around with confidence here, and Alisson's got some work to do.
Off the mark quickly, wasn't he, Alisson? As soon as that ball was hit, he knew he was in business, sweeping up.
Robertson puts too much on that.
But again, it's that run by Saka. As Lee said, Robertson and Alexander-Arnold want to push forward, so they're always under starters' orders in terms of trying to break forward. And that, as soon as they win the ball back, Arsenal, that first look over the shoulder of the Liverpool fullback is a great ball to play, especially with the pace of Martinelli and Saka.
Tierney, Lacazette making a super run in between the Liverpool centre-backs.
Could have played it, Lee, couldn't he?
Not quite sure why Xhaka didn't play that. He opened himself up and he had a look at both of them and just chose not to play the pass.
Excellently done. Saka and Partey. Nice Gabriel. Tierney. Martinelli against Alexander-Arnold. Tierney. Gabriel. Saka's in a lot of room on this Arsenal right-hand side. Cedric's in support. Here he is on his left foot and just drags it wide. Lacazette was onside, by the way.
Yeah, a little fake shot and a slipped pass into Lacazette. Just watch Lacazette's run. He goes short. By the time the ball gets to Cedric, just watch him come across. He's pointing. There's the space and the little run. He would have been onside as well. Robertson, just the last man.
Luis Diaz hasn't seen a lot of the ball so far.
Just thinking that. I mean, he's played a lot of games, hasn't he? A lot of minutes since his arrival, and there is a point where it just starts to catch up with you. That attrition.
Good fullback coming out of Southampton. Not many of them, has there? Cedric. Gareth Bale thought of another one.
Tierney down the line. Martinelli built up a head of steam here. Tierney in support. And he makes a mess of it with his right foot. And Partey has put a crunching challenge in the midfield. No foul. Jota back to his feet. Jurgen Klopp can't believe it down beneath us. Here's Saka into the penalty area, right on the line, it appeared to me, the challenge that came in. Arsenal.
Well, that Partey challenge looked like a foul to me from up here.
Fabinho caught in possession, but the free kick is awarded.
And that didn't.
No. He got the ball there. There's no doubt about that. Just watch the foot coming in. That's probably for the first one. He may give it against Odegaard as opposed to that.
Jurgen Klopp has just summoned over Virgil van Dijk for a chat by the touchline. I thought the message there could be defensively for Liverpool, because they're not having this all their own way at the moment. Here's Robertson.
I think it's probably more related to when they have the ball, in the sense of they haven't got that rhythm that we normally see with Liverpool. They're being forced to play longer balls because the Arsenal shape is good. It's not, you know, Thiago we haven't spoken about a lot, have we? In the midfield three haven't really had good possession where they can link play up from back to front.
I was about to ask you about that, Graham, because that was an area that you picked out before the game as a potential numerical advantage for Liverpool. There's Alexander-Arnold. Van Dijk. Now Luis Diaz. Almost gave it straight to Lacazette. Nice bit of bend on the pass though. Alexander-Arnold into the penalty area. Jota. Better from Liverpool. Alexander-Arnold. Robertson going alone at the back post. Arsenal giving it away. Here's Jota. Mane's onside. Just took a deflection off Tierney. Odegaard sprinted towards Virgil van Dijk to close him down, and now he's clapping above his head to his teammate Lacazette because they've forced the mistake through sheer endeavour and energy.
And you only get that from the work you've done on the training ground. I've said before, their closing down has been remarkably different over this period of time when they've improved as a team. You know, it's all right 1 and 2 going. You've got to have the whole team buying into it. You might not necessarily be moving, you might not necessarily be all going at the same time, but you all know what the other one's doing, and so you can just fill in gaps, standing in positions. Positionally very good, and then it's that trigger, who's going first, and how you drag people with a piece of rope into the next phase of play.
Take this challenge very well, but Arsenal win the ball back again. Palmed in by Ramsdale to find Partey, but he gives the ball straight to Diaz. Now here's Thiago.
Starting to get a few more touches, Thiago, now, isn't he?
Here he is again. Now Robertson. That's a lovely looking ball. The flick on, or attempted flick on by Jota, though, was blocked by Gabriel.
The other thing about Arsenal, Lee, there's a real togetherness about them now. You can see they're working in partnerships. White and Gabriel working really well together, helping each other out. You saw Gabriel blocking off Jota, I think it was, so that his mate White could get a bit more time to clear the ball. It's all those little nuanced things that you don't necessarily see unless you're at the game. The relationships and the strength and that imaginary piece of rope that you talk about.
Cedric does well to find Lacazette under pressure from Diaz, and then Fabinho likewise to dispossess Odegaard. It was a little loose by Gabriel. Given away by Robertson.
So nearly a great ball that by Robertson.
Robertson off his line, is outside his area, so he sends it clear, and actually, well, I say he found Alexander-Arnold, the ball was out of play, but Martinelli is a clear and present threat down that left-hand side for Arsenal.
You can just hear the crowd as soon as they go near a Liverpool player to try and make a tackle. The crowd are with every single player, and with every tackle they win, the cheers go up, the energy builds. As a away team, you feel that as well.
Martinelli. Martinelli again. Alexander-Arnold knows he's in a game. The chance to create the angle. Ben White does so, tries to release Odegaard. Got some work to do to usher the ball back to his goalkeeper here, Van Dijk, but between them they sort it out.
Yeah, that's disappointing by Saka. It wasn't a difficult ball. Rather than trying to play it into his feet, he just roll it down the line for him to run onto. Put himself in a really good position, Odegaard.
Diaz. Saka takes the ball off him, but then Diaz wins it back. Jota trying to get around Cedric, who recovered well.
It's a proper recovery tackle, that one.
Elsewhere on Peacock, you can watch Tottenham-Brighton, and Harry Kane has now scored for Tottenham. It gives them a 2-0 lead. They were virtually guaranteed victory by virtue of going win-loss, 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 win-loss over the last 7 or 8 games. Not over yet, though, and they're still just on the periphery of the race for top 4. It's Arsenal that have emerged from the pack to become favourites to make it over the course of the last couple of months. Here's Partey. Lacazette, the ball was on down the middle. Still with Arsenal, Odegaard into the penalty area. Here's Lacazette again. 3 to aim for, he goes back, it's a fabulous effort. I thought it was going to be closer than that actually from Granit Xhaka.
Fabulous work from Lacazette, really good centre-forward play. A little bit scrappy, but he made sure that the ball was sticking to his feet, he fought for it. There was a little bit of a foul there, and in the end, when it comes to back into the box, Xhaka's got this in his locker, you know. He's got that shot in his locker. I mean, it's quite wide in the end, but a cross shot. Sometimes you're better off completely mishitting them, and it looks a great cross. That's Graham Rousseau.
Got a foul by Mane and Ben White. Alexander Lacazette's contract expires at the end of the season. Do you think Arsenal should try at least to keep him?
Well, I'm sure that when you look at the squad and what they've got available, then you've got to make sure that your transfer policy, your recruitment, already has at least 1, maybe 2 centre-forwards in the pipeline. Otherwise, you're going to have to say to him, we need to keep you, because they are short in that area of the pitch, there's no doubt about it. And there's somebody you know you're going to get a full 90 minutes out of. He's one of those type players, so he's a crowd favourite as well.
He certainly looks like he's playing for a new contract.
Yeah.
30 years of age. Cedric just over the head of Lacazette, who's been involved in 10 Premier League goals since the departure of Aubameyang. Partey, that's excellent work. And White floats it towards Saka.
Do you know what? We talked about Martinelli on the other side. Robertson hasn't got anywhere near Saka in this first half. There's always been a ball on over the top to him. We know how Robertson plays, but he's looked like he's always been stretching.
Jurgen Klopp furious with Andre Mariner for not awarding a free kick for the challenge on Sadio Mane. Here's Ben White. Now he's marching over to the 4th official, Jurgen Klopp, wagging his finger. And a mistake by Diogo Jota. It's Andy Madley who's having his is burnt by Jurgen Klopp, and
he may be unhappy with the challenge, with the decision, but it's also maybe betraying a little bit of frustration down on that sideline.
And he wins the ball, Cedric. We know that doesn't mean it's not a foul. It's just whether he takes enough of the player in the process. Referee choosing not to, but he's got to be right on the edge, Jurgen Klopp, because he's certainly more animated than I've seen him in those situations for a little while. Frustration, as you say, Arlo.
So he's done well, hasn't he? And they've rising to their feet here at the Emirates in response to this effort from their young side here.
Luis Diaz doesn't look like he's got a huge amount in the tank, to be honest, tonight.
No, he doesn't. You're right. Swap over and gone over to that right-hand side, and not getting much change out of Tierney, that's for sure.
Xhaka wastes no time in floating the ball out to Martinelli. His first touch is sensational, and he's got Alexander-Arnold on the back foot. Martinelli surrounded by yellow shirts now. Support arriving. Xhaka again lofts it to Bukayo Saka, but didn't have the accuracy that was required.
Well, that's fantastic by Martinelli. As he got the ball, I was urging him to go forwards, because the confidence and the positivity of a young player in form. It's a really good first touch, and you can see Alexander-Arnold backing off straight away. He knows what's coming, can't do anything about it. Quality and pace, then they get a few numbers back, Liverpool, and it just slows everything down a bit, which is disappointing. Once he got past the first man, you wanted to see him continue to drive into the penalty area.
Well, that's good play from Martinelli, knowing the player, because that's his weakness. Trent Alexander-Arnold, 1v1. He's not great at it. He's not got any better for me in that position. That's one of the areas he needs to work on. If you get in that no man's land, get taken down the line or inside, you might as well stand off the pitch. You've got to show one way or the other and commit to that as a full-back. He did neither. Martinelli knows that, and he's got that pace to attack the inside of him.
Mohamed Salah is warming up down beneath us. I tell you, chaps, Jurgen Klopp is absolutely furious with his players. He's just had a real go at Henderson, and then likewise Andrew Robertson, waving his arms and bellowing at them. Xhaka again squares it. Partey, what an excellent challenge by Mane, and now there's an opportunity perhaps on the counter-attack here for Liverpool, and Diaz with a lovely piece of skill to evade the challenge of Gabriel, but there wasn't enough help, and Arsenal all back, all 11 behind the ball.
Well, he's a little bit worried, Jurgen Klopp, because he can see his side being out-pressed, outplayed in this first half. But against the top teams, you have to take your chances, and you've got to make sure when you've got the pressure on that you score. We saw that against Man City back on December the 1st. He played ever so well, lost the game. Means nothing. You just take a bit of confidence into the next one, but it's all about points. Certainly at the point at the end of the season, which we are now. You have to say they've not created an awful lot in front of goal. Alisson hasn't had an awful lot to do, so that's the next step.
Loose by Liverpool, and they try and work their way in between the lines of Arsenal. That was Jota. More frustration for Jurgen Klopp. I think he might feel that his team are not performing the basics right. I mean, the conditions aren't easy, and Arsenal look like they've adapted much better to them. Henderson finds Thiago.
The difference is, for me, Arsenal are creating 1v1 situations. Liverpool, it's all about the intricacy of the passing and the movement to break down a very stubborn defensive block by Arsenal at the moment. It's working in their favour and frustrating Liverpool.
Diaz. Alexander-Arnold. Passing towards Jota. Almost fell to Diaz on the edge of the penalty area. Fabinho. Emerson stands it up towards the back post. Maybe a flick off the head of Ben White. He sends it down the line. But here's Robertson. A slip on the edge of the area by Diaz, but he's back to his feet straight away. Martin. Alexander-Arnold, it's an excellent cross, and he had little choice there, Cedric, with Mane in behind him to concede the corner.
What a ball that is. Just look at the gap he's hit it into. Mane out on this left-hand side. Somebody's got to be making a run. Thiago it is, tries to get in there, but when that number 66 gets on the ball, just make a run into the box.
Thiago's got some room on the edge of the penalty area here for Liverpool.
Gone in swinger as well, Arlo. Alexander-Arnold.
Basically defending the edge of their own 6-yard box here. The home side. Floated into the penalty area, just on the edge of that 6-yard box. Thiago wins his header, but that should be easy for Ramsdale. Who immediately looks for Martinelli. Alisson a long way up his line. Nicely done by Tierney. Martinelli comes away from the challenge with Diaz successfully. Oh, look at that. He's good, but he's not going to reach that.
Tell you what a ball that nearly was. And Martinelli just getting the crowd off their chairs just before half-time. Because it's things like that that make the fans really take to a player. They don't need to take to him. They already have done, but the spirit of the team.
Was waiting for any potential mistake by Ben White that wasn't forthcoming. Now was that a handball on the far side by Alexander-Arnold? I think the ball perhaps was already out of play.
Yeah, it was. That's why he used his hand. Wanted to give the ball kid a bit of a break. And you just see that ball from Alexander-Arnold to Mane from one touch that looked like there was no danger to suddenly seeing the run and forcing Ben White to really stretch to intercept. That just goes to show as a defender how alert you have to be, because that threat can come at any time from a player of Trent Alexander-Arnold's ability.
Someone's a little isolated there, and Ben White gets the better of Sadio Mane and finds Partey. Here's Odegaard. Xhaka. Tierney. Into the area. Won by Robertson. Falls here on the edge to Fabinho. And another slap of the thighs by Jurgen Klopp in the technical area.
He's saying to Fabinho he should have brought that down and play. I mean, it's all right standing on the sideline with your big puffer jacket on. It's not that easy, Jurgen.
The game has had such a flow to it. There haven't been any injuries at all, have there, so far, that there won't be any stoppage time at the end of this first half. Saka, Odegaard, Lacazette. An excellent challenge. Fabinho went to ground and won the ball. Henderson. So we only have around 10 seconds remaining. Sadio Mane. Ramsdale came out and then went back again. And under great pressure, Mane eventually puts it over the crossbar, but it was an excellent challenge by Gabriel.
Well, that's that ball. We've seen him just do one, but that's even better. difficult to control there. Soft touch. We saw Havertz do it, didn't we, for Chelsea the other day. Can't quite get it under control. Just bounces off his foot a little bit.
Well, we haven't seen massive amounts of chances, but this is a hugely entertaining and competitive match. It's a talented and spirited Arsenal who are providing a real test here for the title challengers Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp has cut a frustrated figure in the Liverpool technical area. The Verizon half-time show is next with Cara Banks, Tim Howard and Danny Higginbottom. 0-0 at a soggy Emirates. Stay with us.
I'm stuck in this, like, infinite time loop thing. I'm reliving the same day over and over again. I get to do whatever I want. Plus, nacho fries never leave the menu.
She's violating the Nacho Fries limited timeline.
Does that happen every day? Let's dip.
Try her now!
What's happening?
Let's get spicy!
Look out!
MasterCard is working alongside Black women business owners with ways to get more businesses online and hundreds of millions in funding. Join MasterCard in showing respect and start something priceless.
This past fall, we did the extraordinary. We kept going. All season long, we never missed a curtain. We never missed a beat. We just delivered exceptional opera experiences night after night, made possible by our incomparable artists and company. Meet us back here this spring and see for yourself what we've been working on. Every performance is unrivaled and unforgettable. We are the Metropolitan Opera. Extraordinary every night.
Come in for workout gear. Leave feeling empowered. Come in for snack time. Leave more fulfilled. Because when you shop at Target, you leave with what you value most, like healthy foods for your family and brands that lift our communities. At Target, the things that matter
So we saw Mo Salah on the bench at the beginning of that highlight. That's a big talking point that we'll get onto in a minute. But Danny, first of all, your take. Are we seeing, do you think, a similar strategy from both of these teams? Because it is such a high-stakes match.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is two teams that are both confident defensively, and two teams that are playing high lines. And other than that one opportunity that we just saw with Mane, no players are going in behind. So you look at both teams' backs forwards, they're playing so high, but then you look at the space in behind, OK, there's one running behind here. This leads to an opportunity for Liverpool. Once again, the space that's in behind. But what we're seeing from both teams is that they seem to be happy, seem to be comfortable as in terms of coming towards the ball. When I look at Martinelli, I look at Saka, I look at Mane, I look at Diaz, they have got players that have got so much pace that can get in behind. So one of two things happens. You either get in behind like Mane did in that scenario, or the opposition defenders go, nope, we're going to drop off. Then your likes of Odegaard, your likes of Jota dropping deeper can get on the ball. But at the moment, defensively, very, very strong. Both teams very brave. Attacking-wise, not taking too many risks at the moment.
Have you seen the same?
Yeah, and it's an interesting one because I think both teams have been tactically bold. You know, I look at Liverpool as an example. Fullbacks have gone in possession, incredibly high. Henderson and Fabinho have stayed behind the ball, which has left basically Thiago to operate in midfield. He's not getting on a half turn. They're playing it into him. He's bouncing it back. So they're not playing in between lines. So as much as they're being bold in possession, they're not being very risky. Like, we haven't seen a ton of counter-attack opportunities in terms of both of these teams are very good at that. We haven't seen that. And so for me, it feels as if they're both afraid to lose, which is normal. We get to that point in the season where you think, rather a draw. And at the moment, the way the table is shaking out, a draw actually is okay for Liverpool. And I think we're seeing that at the moment.
I look at both teams, and I think both teams are surprised by the others. So I think that Arsenal probably expected Liverpool to sit off. So Arsenal have been working on coming towards the ball. I think Liverpool expected Arsenal to sit off. So Liverpool have been working on coming to get the ball. So no one's stretching the game. No one's going forward. And the problem is that through any game that you're playing at any level, the team that wins the midfield battle, more often than not, goes on to win the game. Neither team has won that midfield battle. At the moment, if you look at the top 5 touches on the ball, it's Van Dijk, Robertson, Matip, Tierney and Partey. All defensive players. At the moment, we haven't seen Arsenal get into their groove in midfield. And likewise with Liverpool. And until that happens, then they're going to keep cancelling each other out.
It would be hard to imagine, Tim, a scenario where Mo Salah doesn't come off the bench. If he does, will that be the difference maker in this game?
Well, it will be. And when you look at having to manage minutes, particularly as you start to get to the back end of the season, okay, albeit Salah's injured, but I think Jurgen Klopp would have said, get ourselves to halftime, feel this game out, and now we can be a little bit more aggressive. We can start to get Mo Salah, bring Mo Salah on, get him into pockets to operate, because, as I said, there hasn't been that space in the midfield to play balls into. I expect to see him, and I certainly expect for him to make a difference.
But he's not warming up right now. In fact, no one from either team is. How late could you bring him on, do you think?
I think it's a scenario where you leave it probably for 20 minutes to go, something like that. Maybe when the game starts to open up a little bit more. But at the moment, both defences are on top, and I think Arteta, you know, he deserves credit, because I think ordinarily we'd see Arsenal sit really deep in times gone by and said, OK, we're going to play on the counter. But they're going toe-to-toe with one of the biggest teams in Europe at the moment and holding their own. So I think Arteta will be quietly confident. And like I say, I think both teams, if it was to end up a point for both teams, I don't think there'd be an issue.
Yeah, it's a little strange to see the home team almost playing like an away side. It's almost as if Arsenal is saying, we'll manage this game. If it's a draw, we're comfortable. We have games in hand. We're sitting comfortably in 4th position. Normally, you see that from the away team, allowing them to come on to you. But this is the tactic that Arteta is implementing is very interesting. Not a ton of risks, just kind of managing the game at the moment.
Do you think the previous result from November plays into that mindset?
A little bit, but I also, you know, again, given the importance and the enormity of the game for Liverpool, I think he sensed that going into it and wanted to absorb some of their pressure.
OK, so we mentioned Salah, obviously the headline on the bench. Any other changes you'd like to see coming into the second half?
Not necessarily changes, but what I would say is, you know, the players with pace too often coming towards the ball. Turn around, go the other way and ask questions of the centre-backs, ask questions of the full-backs. And like I say, you may not win those individual battles, but you're going to open things up in midfield. So the team that can do that, the team that will take that, you know, go a little bit longer, could probably be the team that prevails.
OK, 0-0. We'll see what happens in the second half. Meanwhile, there have been goals in the Brighton and Tottenham game. That's on another stream here on Peacock. And they had a chance early, didn't they, Danny, the Spurs?
Yeah, they didn't. Of all the people for it to fall to, would be Harry Kane. It's great pressing initially. We know Brighton like to play out from the back. And Sanchez just gets caught out, and you're just expecting the ball to ball into the back of the net, but he doesn't. And he just gets it horribly wrong, Harry Kane. He does everything right here, and I would imagine both sets of supporters will have been thinking, yep, it's in the back of the net, but it just wasn't to be. And you know, it's a rare one from Harry Kane. But then Tottenham get a little bit of luck. Son does really well, and it's a strike from Kulusevski, and it just takes the slightest of deflections of Romero. We'll see it here, and that just completely wrong foot Sanchez, you see. And Romero celebrating like a true goal scorer there, as if he scored the goal, and going up and telling his teammates as well. And then this is just a great goal from Tottenham on the counter-attack. One of the standout players since he's joined the club, Kulusevski. He's the man that wins the ball, plays it to Bentancur, and then Harry Kane gets himself in a great position, and he beats Sanchez at the near post. But it's just really good work from Kulusevski first, and then Bentancur takes over, and we can see Harry Kane, perfect run, perfect ball for him to be onside. And then Sanchez, he'll probably be a little bit disappointed because he gets beaten at that near post when he's narrowed the angle. But Tottenham won't care, and what a great start for Tottenham as well.
So this game in the 85th minute right now, and it remains 2-0 Spurs. Again, that match live, of course, on its own separate Peacock stream, and a reminder that live matches are just part of the Premier League content available for you here on Peacock. We have a Premier League TV channel, as well as the always entertaining Men in Blazers show. Tomorrow it's off to Goodison Park. Everton are in miserable form. They have lost 5 of their last 6 league matches since hiring Frank Lampard. Newcastle, meanwhile, are playing great. Only Man City, Liverpool and Man United have tallied more points since Christmas. But the scoreline right now at the Emirates is 0-0. Arteta focused. Klopp, meanwhile, animated, trying to get another win away at Arsenal.
Sentiva, scents that please. Grapefruit splash, coconut breeze. Sentiva.
MasterCard is working alongside Black women business owners with ways to get more businesses online and hundreds of millions in funding. Join MasterCard in showing respect and start something priceless.
This past fall, we did the extraordinary. We kept going. All season long, we never missed a curtain. We never missed a beat. We just delivered exceptional opera experiences, night after night, made possible by our incomparable artists and company. Meet us back here this spring and see for yourself what we've been working on. Every performance is unrivaled and unforgettable. We are the Metropolitan Opera. Extraordinary every night.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
It's time to go racing. Here we go. Oh, the greatest spectacle in racing. Indy 500.
From executive producer Will Smith and Westbrook Studios comes the new Peacock original, Bel Air, streaming now only on Peacock. And it's 0-0 at half-time at the Emirates. So let's head back out, join Arlo and the team live now for the second half.
Cara, thank you very much indeed. Interestingly, Jurgen Klopp out very early onto that Liverpool bench ahead of this second half, and a rather sheepish looking 11 players followed him out onto the pitch, and we await the home side Arsenal. Liverpool have in some ways been handed a golden ticket by Crystal Palace's draw with Manchester City on Monday night. So if Liverpool win their last 10, they'll be champions. Pretty simple, I guess. Here come the home side. And there's a big roar that greets them. So, gentlemen, the second half, what do we expect?
Well, I think you're probably right with Jurgen Klopp coming out a little bit early, that there's definitely a few teacups gone flying at half-time. I think he would have let the players know. We saw on the sideline what he thought of their performance in the first half. Very frustrating for him. to not see his players doing what they normally do. And so I think you'll see a big improvement in Liverpool. You have to. They can't play like that in the second half if they want to push. I mean, said that, it's still 0-0, and you know they could quite easily score a goal and that'd be it. The game, they could finish it off and get the 3 points. But there's a lot of football to be played in this second half. Very encouraging for Arsenal. And Arteta will warn them that all that playing didn't create an awful lot, and it's still 0-0.
Mikel Arteta off his bench, right to the edge of the technical area where he spent most of the first half.
Salah and Firmino just doing warm-up. Sorry, Arlo. Were you just about to say the same thing?
No. But you're right, though. He was warming up, wasn't he? Just caught me by surprise.
There you go. So I think 20 minutes, if there's no real improvement, then there'll be a couple of changes, and that's obviously the advantage a team like Liverpool has. They can bring on quality, instant quality that can have an impact on a game, even if the team's not playing well.
Oh, that's a lovely ball by Henderson. Mane through! The flag is up on the near side. Liverpool thought they had the lead in the first minute of the second half.
Yeah, he knew it as well, Mane, because immediately the ball hits the back of the net. In fact, you'll probably see it. You'll probably see it's a great little run just on the back, but he just goes a bit early. He is offside, and then when he puts it in, he has a little have a look over the linesman. There he is. Yeah, the flag's going up. Little warning for you as a back four when you come out for the second half and done well in the first half. Just gets you on your toes, that does.
Tierney did well because he just held his line. He was the first player to put his hand up. He was the one that could see what was happening, and he had the awareness to stop his run, not play Mane onside.
Saka does excellently to keep that ball in play, but then Robertson recovered sufficiently. And Martinelli, ball first touch, and Henderson able to get the challenge in. Ball over the top by Alexander-Arnold, looking for a Jota. And Ben White got himself into a bit of a tangle. And Andre Mariner says foul by Sadio Mane.
Right, I'm in that back four for Arsenal right now. And I'm having a little word with everybody. I'm Ben White and I'm Gabriel, and I'm saying, right, that's 2 now Liverpool have had over the top. Let's liven ourselves up, because that sooner or later turns to 3, and then all of a sudden Liverpool go 1-0 up. So just have a little word with your back four and just say, right, what did we do in the first half? We stopped that. And why have they got in twice within 4 minutes?
Well, the Klopp's mood hasn't improved, by the way, and his berating of that decision, or Andre Mariner for that decision, has brought Andy Madley back into the Liverpool technical area down beneath us. Odegaard, Partey. Martinelli, who was at times electrifying in that first half, and he's around Alexander-Arnold again. Help is there through Jordan Henderson, but Martinelli's still going. Oh, the nutmeg was fantastic, and he's beaten Alexander-Arnold twice in the same move.
Yeah, Xhaka's got to keep out of his way. He's a couple of runs down the channel.
A little bit rattled here, Liverpool. That was a poor clearance by Van Dijk. Good fall here to Cedric. Cuts it back. Saka leaves it. Cross is deflected into the grateful hands of Alisson.
Yeah, for Xhaka, he's got to leave Martinelli, have the space behind Alexander-Arnold. You see the run there? He takes bodies in, then he checks. That gives Martinelli the space, and this is wonderful close control. Looks like he's lost the opportunity through the legs of Henderson. Alexander-Arnold can't make the tackle because he's in the penalty area. And once again, it's Robertson at that far post, getting himself into a good position to clear.
Here's Martin. Free kick to Arsenal. Foul by Jordan Henderson.
Just seen Jurgen Klopp put 5 up. 5 fingers up to one of the subs there. 5 more minutes and one of them's coming on. Presumably, that'll be Mo Salah.
He went off in the second half, didn't he, down at Brighton with a foot injury. Ramsdale with a fabulous ball on the free kick. It's dropped beautifully for Martinelli, who's tormenting Alexander-Arnold at the moment. Here's Partey, gets it out of his feet quickly. The shot claims of handball against Virgil van Dijk. It appeared he had his hands behind his back. Lacazette looking to get in here, cleared by Martip, and it falls here to Thiago. Oh, it could be giving it straight to Lacazette. He has done. The square ball, chance here, and it's saved. Almost calamity for Liverpool. Odegaard denied.
Well, Odegaard, in the end, Alisson makes up for a terrible mistake. He gets back in front of his goal. There is men back with that hand. And there it is. He's just dangling it down, and then he just lifts it up at the last minute, gets his arm on it. What a chance for Arsenal.
Mo Salah has been summoned back to the Liverpool bench. Corner swung over. Right fist of Alisson gets there first. Saka didn't quite get the power. Well held by Alisson under pressure. Gabriel sprinting back to his position at centre-back. Alexander-Arnold bends a ball beautifully into the path of Luis Diaz. First touch wasn't what he'd hoped for, but then he's fouled by Cedric. Free kick to Liverpool.
And it's that back to front ball that's causing Arsenal a few problems. They're hitting it from deep and early. Liverpool, Luis Diaz, who I think is going to be the player that comes off from a Liverpool perspective, getting fouled, and this is a typical scenario with a team that's at this level. Liverpool not playing well, but maybe, just maybe, good enough to take a chance.
That's a terrible decision to make a tackle there from Cedric. No need, he's going nowhere, and you just give an opportunity for Liverpool set piece with their set piece specialists taking the ball. Robertson on this occasion and their height. If this was to go in, I think Arteta will be having a word with his fullback.
It'll be Salah and Firmino to come on. There goes the free kick, and Ramsdale claims it confidently. Excellent distribution as well. Tierney looking for Lacazette. Robertson, the defender, gives it straight to Odegaard. Then Luis Diaz able to recover the ball for Liverpool. Roberto Firmino has been out since mid-February. He was on the bench at Brighton.
Message to those two is get your teammates out of a hole. They're not playing well, but these two can make a huge difference.
Liverpool have been quite slow in possession this evening. Is that due, I wonder, to Arsenal's organisation? But just as I say that, through they go and they score a terrific goal. It's Diogo Jota. A wonderful, incisive pass. Just as they were going square to each other again, it's a fabulous goal. And I wonder if Jota is one of the men that was going to be brought off for Firmino and Salah. We'll have to wait and see. But it's a brilliant goal by Liverpool, who take a 1-0 lead.
I think the slow build-up caught even you out, Arlo, for once. It was very passive, wasn't it? And then all of a sudden, that through ball opens Arsenal's back line up. The crowd can't believe it, beating Ramsdale at the near post as well. Everything came out of the blue, and that's poor. I think from 3 or 4 different areas from an Arsenal perspective. Liverpool won't care. Pleased with the finish and that crucial goal.
Well, Ramsdale will have nightmares about that. And you've got a defender sliding in to close the angle and maybe get something on the ball. He's always going to be a little bit late with the challenge. You have to cover that near post, because that's basically the only place he can get his shot away, Jota. And that near post is like gold dust. You've got to protect it. You can't shoot across the goal because the defender's sliding in. And you're right, it just kind of crept up on Arsenal, on everybody. And then all of a sudden, Liverpool, how poorly they played in the first half, and now 1-0 up, and they put the 2 strikers on.
It is Diogo Jota who comes off. The goal was his last touch. 7 in 7 against Arsenal for Liverpool, and then replaced. Luis Diaz comes on off the field as well, so Firmino is back in action for Liverpool, and Mo Salah as well. So, on the night that they could go a point behind Manchester City, they've laboured for the first 50 minutes or so, and then suddenly that moment, and Ramsdale has it charged down by Firmino. And these are vital moments for Arsenal here, because they missed a wonderful opportunity not so long ago with Martin Odegaard after the poor back pass by Thiago, and they may feel that it's happening to them again as it did against Manchester City on January the 1st. That's one aspect of their game that Mikel Arteta is keen to dispel. Stop feeling sorry for ourselves. If things happen again, work out why they're doing it and overcome them. And that's what they've got to do here. Van Dijk back to his goalkeeper. Another challenge by Martin and a free kick. And John Xhaka.
It is remarkable how passive Liverpool were, and everything seemed under control from an Arsenal perspective. We've seen a couple of longer balls that have connected with players and been warning signs. And that one there for the goal split the Arsenal defence open, and then mistake by Ramsdale.
Taken quickly. Lacazette almost on the end of that. That was some smart thinking.
He couldn't sort his feet out. It was so quick. He started to just get into his stride and just watch his stride pattern. He knows he's in. He's saying, give it me. And he just can't sort his feet out and get into that sprint.
Salah finds Firmino. Salah has 28 goals for the season. Look at that wonderful bit of fade on the pass from Alexander-Arnold. Stood up into the penalty area. That was the attempt by Robertson. It's a corner kick.
Well, that's when Trent Alexander-Arnold's at his most comfortable, when he's got time on the ball anywhere around the box. His quality is second to none, but he's had a bit of a shaky night defensively. But at the moment, it's Liverpool who have pressed home that advantage in the second half. They've been better in the second half.
Into the near post. Salah edge of the area. Couldn't keep that one down.
He's not fit. His first touch, is it?
Next 10 minutes for Arsenal are really important. Really important. Here's the chance from Odegaard. Does well, Alisson, doesn't he? Look, he makes himself big, doesn't go to ground. 2 players on the line. Go up the other end, and that strike there. Doesn't it really look like he's expecting that, Ramsdale?
Partey. Well, the referee might want to look over to the left-hand side here, Andre Mariner, because there's somebody that's come out of the crowd, I think, and was next to the goal post. He's been dragged away by the stewards behind that goal now. Strange situation. That ball had gone into the penalty area. The fan was on the pitch at the time, so Andre Mariner, I think, happy that the stewards have sorted that out and signals that play can go on. There's Martinelli. Xhaka. Tierney back to his goalkeeper. Now Partey. Brielle looking for Martinelli, who's inside easily of Alexander-Arnold, but the flag's up on the far side. As a pair of fullbacks, former fullbacks, what do you do in a situation that Alexander-Arnold's in here? Because every time Martinelli gets the ball, he's going at him and invariably going round him.
Try and get subbed would be my first request. The problem is, and Lee and I were talking about this a lot at half-time, he hasn't got electric pace, Alexander-Arnold. That first 3-4 yards, which is vital when you're playing against someone with such speed. You've got to remember the fullback's going backwards as he's being attacked, so you've got to be able to turn and get up to speed within 2 or 3 strides against pace, and he's backing off, and Martinelli, every time he gets it, he knows where his weakness is and he's trying to exploit it. The only thing Alexander-Arnold could do is try and get a bit of support, but that doesn't happen so much now in the modern game. They tend to be left 1v1 a lot of the time.
Or sometimes you've got to change the way you play. If you've got a particular player who's absolutely having a purple patch and he's against you,
hang on. Won by Firmino. Chance here for Liverpool. The cut back. The opportunity. Left-footed strike is saved. It was Salah who got in there. I think it was Ramsdale. Managed to save it close to the goal line. Liverpool come again. Ball across and the goal. They've taken control here. Roberto Firmino on for only a few moments, and he has made it 2-0. And in lightning quick speed, Liverpool have gone from a position of peril to total command here at the Emirates. He might be a little bit happier on the inside now, Jurgen Klopp. Are they heading a point behind Manchester City in the title race? Arsenal 0, Liverpool 2.
What a touch from Firmino. Saka on that far side, who gets outdone by Robertson. And Firmino wins the ball back, does that, pulls it back, it doesn't go anywhere. And they eventually keep it alive, and then Salah, his shot's blocked, and then on that far side, the block's there, and Saka's just got to clear his lines, and he doesn't. Robertson wins it back. Watch this for a touch, he's already pointing. Just put it in there. Deft. Absolutely brilliant. Saka, there's one mistake. Player's out of position. And he just puts the faintest of touch in it. That's absolutely brilliant, because it's too easy to stick your foot in there. And Ramsdale will block that, but he doesn't. He waits, and he just puts a tiny little bit of weight on the ball that tends it underneath the goalkeeper.
Well, their ears may be ringing, but their toes are twinkling in this second half, Liverpool. It's only Roberto Firmino's 5th Premier League goal of the season. He hadn't scored in his last 9 appearances. In fact, he'd only got 1 in his last 14. Well, that is a moment of absolute genius from the Brazilian. I should say they look ponderous and passing the ball sideways more often for Liverpool fans. It's the reverse commentator curse.
It's inevitable they were going to play better than they did in the first half, but Arsenal have made individual mistakes and lost their focus a little bit, certainly lost their pattern.
Emerson outside of the right boot looking for Salah. Ramsdale dealt with that well. Martinelli in the back of Alexander-Arnold, which has frustrated Klopp again. Bellowing again at the referee. Change coming for Mikel Arteta. Emile Smith-Rowe is ready for action. I think the Emirates is a little stunned.
Well, we talked about it before, about when you're playing well, and as I said, against City, against Liverpool in the first half, they played well. When you play in the top quality sides, you don't take advantage of it, they punish you. That's what they do. That's where Arsenal are not at that level right now. It's all about a learning curve and just getting to a point where you just press home your advantage.
Mane. Brooks challenge. They've entered the corner. Martinelli. Away by Xhaka. Here's Thiago. Making another intelligent run diagonally behind that Arsenal back line. Here's Martip on the right-hand side. No Salah. Tierney standing up towards the back post, and that'll float out of play.
It's like a different side now, Liverpool, in terms of the quality of control and possession that they've got, really imposing themselves on Arsenal. And like any good teams, any top-level teams, they'll punish the opponent's mistake, and they've done that twice, Liverpool.
Maybe a slightly rueful Martin Odegaard that comes off, gets a high five from his manager. Moment that was before Liverpool took the lead. Emile Smith-Rowe is on.
He likes that ball as well. 10, Smith-Rowe, he likes to be able to get the ball into that space and turn. He's a quick turner and he's deceptively quick on the run as well. Sometimes he can not got one of those sprinters body, Graham, has he, where you look as if he looks as if he's going fast, but he's so strong on the ball. Not been in the side much of late. I want to impress.
He started 2 of the last 13 in the Premier League. There's Tierney. Plenty of time for Arsenal. Martinelli, inside of Alexander-Arnold. Wants to send a ball over to Saka on that right-hand side. And Liverpool again, Ben White there just before Mane.
Yeah, that's the pace and the turn there that Ben White showed. Excellent work, covered Mane really well.
Martinelli. Diligently dropping back and helping Alexander-Arnold. Marshall, this young Brazilian, can pokes it down the line. Smith-Rowe. Saka. Just to the near post. Still being business here, Arsenal. Smith-Rowe's shot was blocked, and they had a throw on the far side.
Nice football that by Arsenal. Smith-Rowe, lovely ball this. Positive pass into the space for Saka, and then the cutback's good. But again, look at the quality of Liverpool's defending. Martip, well positioned, makes the first clearance and gets his body in a good position. Always looks in control of the situation.
Martinelli. With the switch back to Tierney. Given away by Alexander-Arnold, straight to Partey. Martinelli was fizzed into him by Granit Xhaka. Lovely touch by Salah. They're trying to turn, and he draws the free kick from Thomas Partey. And it's Mikel Arteta's turn to be slightly aggrieved.
Well, yeah, you can see why it was given. Important those senior players on the Arsenal side now just have a little word round with the youngsters in the side. It's 20 minutes to go. Pivotal time of the game now, 2-0, seems like it's over. You just got to keep plugging away. You get one chance, 2-1, you get back into it. With the way that Liverpool play in the first half, maybe a little bit jittery. They need to win this game, obviously, with what happened against Palace from City's point of view. Be right in the driving seat, don't want to lose the lead.
Arne, Firmino, Salah. They sort of trip off the tongue, don't they? Martin. Oh, still Martin. Oh, he could be caught upfield, and that was be challenged by Roberto Firmino. No further action taken by Andre Mariner. Partey back to his feet.
It was an excellent second half, Martin. Really reliable, so experienced positionally as well, and likes to break into an attacking role when he gets the opportunity. As soon as he went past Fabinho, Fabinho was back in covering, and then once Firmino lost it, I think he knew where Martin was and made the foul.
Into a wrestling match. Fabinho is going to be summoned here. Maybe not. Just to confirm, Roberto Firmino got a yellow card during the celebrations for that second goal. Well, he's had to earn his corn tonight, Jurgen Klopp. Hasn't seen it out just yet. That was a big half-time chat and a couple of big substitutions as well. It was already 1-0 by the time the subs eventually came on. It certainly works. Martinelli will keep this in play. Tracking back is Alexander-Arnold. Martinelli shows a bit too much of that to the Liverpool defender, and in the end between Alexander-Arnold and Martin, they win their side a goal kick.
Well, he's high-fiving with Henderson. Just look at the position. Oh, you missed it on the replay, but the position again of the fullback is way off. Martinelli got a run on him. Did get back well in the end. Liverpool fullback. Well, it's been a really interesting duel that all night long. And you'll know he's been in the game.
Nicola Pepe will come on for the Bukayo Saka.
Mikel Arteta made a substitution against Wolves at home, and he put Pepe on. He changed the system to 3 at the back, and Pepe went as right wing back. And it was something that worked. Looks like he's going on the right hand side of the front 3. He changed the game when he came on.
Xhaka. This cross is a really good one. It didn't reach Alisson in the end.
Offside.
The flag is up, isn't it?
Yeah, again, fantastic defending that by Martin. It's a beautiful ball in from that right-hand side.
Henderson got a bit of a clout, so he was just grabbing his right ankle then.
Put this ball in.
fantastically weighted. He's only just offside. Martic wasn't to know that. Makes a very important defensive header.
Deft touch by Salah. He's made a great run down the right-hand side. Salah using his strength, trickery, little hack at the ankles by Lacazette. Free kick to Liverpool. Looking for the previous challenge by Xhaka.
His strength is remarkable, isn't it? He likes people to get close to him like that, and then he uses his strength, his centre of gravity, to roll them and move away from them, causing the foul in that situation. Or if he gets away, you're not catching back up with him again.
Van Dijk. Left back roll, sends it forward. It wins the header, nods it down to Fabinho.
More controlled football now by Liverpool. That header again, Martip's on my radar at the moment. I think he's having a fantastic second half, but under pressure, heading it to Fabinho, keeping the ball moving.
I'm in your fantasy league team as well.
Hope so.
Alexander-Arnold taking his time over this corner. To the back post, Van Dijk was there. Turned into a decent ball. Missed by both Lacazette and Thiago. Arteta has summoned another substitute. He's warming up at the moment. Here's Granit Xhaka. Too much of that to Robertson. This second half performance is big for Liverpool because they were in trouble at half-time. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. And we saw that from Jurgen Klopp's reaction to that first half, and pretty much how quick he came out for the second half. He'd obviously said his piece and said, go and sort it out. To be fair to him, they have sorted it out. And as Graham said as well, there's been a few sloppy mistakes from Arsenal, and these top teams don't let you get away with that. That's the difference.
Eddie Nketiah, come on.
It's funny, Liverpool can play poorly in the first half by their standards, come in 0-0 at half-time. Start the half better, Arsenal standards drop, all of a sudden 2-0. And that, it's not luck, it's about quality of decision making and focus and your reliability, your experience. All of those things contribute.
Is possessed here, Ben White, and they could be in business again here, Liverpool. Here's Salah, went for the far corner, almost found Sadio Mane in the end. Salah again, here's Henderson. Thiago, Alexander-Arnold.
Arsenal now running out of fitness levels. They've been chasing the ball in this second half, but they have to give it everything and try and win the ball back early on.
By Robertson.
Because Liverpool, if you don't, Liverpool will just kill the game off. There's 11 minutes to go and they'll just pass you into a point of submission.
That's interesting. Lacazette handed the captain's armband off to Granit Xhaka, and he's handed it in turn on to Kieran Tierney. Nketiah is on, Lacazette is off. Ten minutes remaining, and the atmosphere is all rather different. What we experienced, particularly in that first half.
It's fantastic. The first half, you know, the crowd are really behind the team, really excited, optimistic. It's the pain of being a fan, isn't it?
But the optimism generally should remain, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's that first half performance really had Liverpool on the ropes for a spell. And if they get that first goal, Arsenal, then the fans really have something to hold on to as well as the players. I think it's the manner of the goals are disappointing from an Arsenal perspective, and as Lee says, the lack of ability to maintain the level of performance through 90 minutes.
Team talk after this game from Arteta's point of view is you just get them all sat down, you just say to him, see those yellow shirts, that's where you need to get to. And they'll point out how poorly they played and how well they did in the first half. They'll say, but what did they do? They came out and they changed it and they won. If it stays like this, they score 2 goals from our mistakes, and that's the difference. A big difference, but that's what you've got to try and aim at.
No foul on Pepe. Thiago has gone in very heavily there. Way on for the time being, is it? The ball just got away from him, didn't it? He went sliding in on Thomas Partey. Not even a free kick.
No, he certainly did. He had a heavy first touch, and that's normally the red flag for what comes next. I think Andre Mariner's in a good position to see it, just whether he felt he got the ball well before any contact was made with Partey and that his feet were on the ground, possibly.
I didn't think it was a foul, but I haven't seen it again. I can change my mind if I've seen the replay.
Martinelli.
Another example where Alexander-Arnold has got Henderson now working really hard for him. 2v1 situation, you deny Martinelli the space to cut inside. Alexander-Arnold covers that outside run and looks much more comfortable.
Caught in the combination of Thiago and Mane. Some fans singing their love and appreciation for their team. They can see that this is going in the right direction. Header defensively by Van Dijk. Firmino, what a super ball. Robertson. Couldn't find Salah, intercepted by Tierney. Excellent from Smith Rowe. Here's Pepe. Smith Rowe, what a drop of the shoulder. Almost get it through to a teammate on the edge of the area. Nicola Pepe was in a decent position. Solid challenge by Ben White. Arsenal can't take advantage.
Yeah, looked like he hurt himself then, Ben White, with the challenge, stretching that hamstring. Hopefully he's okay from an Arsenal perspective.
Well, Liverpool had dropped 12 points away from home so far this season, 9 of them in London. They won 1 of their 5 visits to the capital so far this season. To put that right here tonight, now 5 minutes away. Xhaka atoned for his own error. Tierney. Ball towards Exia, but marks it there once again. That's Martinelli. Tete. Now by Sadio Mane. Score here, chaps. The Arsenal fans will be dashing back to empty seats that are appearing around the Emirates. Edric. And by Teddy. His way by Alexander-Arnold. And he was alert to the threat of Mohamed Salah. Smith Rowe, Arte, lovely ball. With his left foot here, Xhaka, but he finds Martinelli! Well, it wasn't far away. It was a super move by the Gunners. But sadly for them, they draw a blank again.
Yeah, good quick passing and great ball from Xhaka. He just sets it up perfect, the pace on it. It was all set up for him just to bend it into that corner. He did everything but score. And that was the chance. That's the one where you put Liverpool under pressure. The 2-1, the jittery nerves, the Man City chasing, and all of that stuff comes into play if that goes in.
Quite get the ball to move enough for him. Set it out a little bit too far wide, didn't he? But you're spot on, Lee. The ball from Xhaka, and again, that's pass appreciation at that level, setting the ball in the right place so the person can just step onto it. And you have to make that decision once you've received the ball. What are your options? And then the quality of the ball into him was excellent.
Curtis Jones, who's going to make a late cameo appearance here for the visitors. Thiago is replaced.
Fans booing, you can't blame him for walking off slow. He's walking off a lot faster than I would if we were 2-0 up.
He went down from a light jog into a slow stroll, didn't he, there?
And he was much closer to the far side of the pitch, so he technically could have gone off that side. I think that's what the fans are about.
I've been moonwalking all the way back over the pitch.
It's an image I can't get out of my head now.
That?
You moonwalking.
I'm not, probably not with studs on, but
only since he had his knee broken. Happy birthday for tomorrow, by the way, Lee.
Thank you very much.
And also congratulations to your former teammate David Seaman. Yes. On his hole-in-one when the two of you played together yesterday.
Yes, it was one of the highlights of my life, watching his big grinned face as the ball goes in the hole.
And Liverpool again, Mane. Ben White. The board is up on the near side. 3 minutes of time added on. Nicely done by Ben White. Likewise Fabinho. From an Arsenal perspective, both of you, there is cause for optimism here, isn't there? And still, despite the defeat, which looks like it's going to be tonight, favourites for top four?
Oh, that's a tough one. But yes, I would say just about favourites for top four. But I like the identity of the team. I think, you know, when we first commentated on them at the beginning of the season,
Martinelli. And Arnold helped out once again by Henderson. Easy for Alisson.
Yeah, down at Brentford, that first game of the season seems a long time ago. And the transition from where they were then, they weren't pressing. I remember we spoke to Arteta after the game and asked him about the lack of energy when they were pressing the ball. And look at it now, it's really evolved. And as Lee rightly says, it's a youngish team. They're growing all the time, they're learning, the crowd are behind them. There's a lot to be positive about, and they've got to finish the season and keep growing with the games they've got left. The other part to it, they need to do some recruitment in the summer as well. Lacazette, as Lee said, you know, the only really identifiable striker they've got.
Salah played behind Mane with Cedric. Martinelli. He's got left in the tank to maybe take on Alexander-Arnold one last time. Tried it. This time the England defender him out on top. I don't think there's any doubt that for Liverpool winning a league is obviously a motivation, but doing it with fans in the ground, which didn't happen, of course, last time, much to everyone's disappointment. The sight of Jordan Henderson lifting the Premier League trophy in an empty Kop. And they dearly, dearly love to do it in front of a packed Anfield this season. With a lot of football to be played between now and the end of the season, though. Firmino, that's a nice ball to Mane, and they've got options on the left-hand side here. Mane, though, goes to Mohamed Salah. Good defending by Kieran Tierney to prevent a third. And that's it. Huge concern for Jurgen Klopp.